Hey there, guys. It's Kage DQT coming at you, and like I said before, we were going to be discussing part two of Die when it dropped. Wasn't just all the Blossom units. We have a lot to get into for today. There was a lot that was announced this morning on the Japanese stream, and they did not disappoint. It it is again. It's a shame that the Die mobile game pretty much had to die for this to happen. You could say it's happenstance, coincidence, whatever, but game's gone, end of service, new event. Yeah, I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I want to thank Stella for some translation work, Teju for helping out, get me some screen caps to send over as well. Things that people like the leader of Uke just still should do instead of just stealing their content and throwing it up on a video. But then again, he's a piece of shit. Anywho, let's get into it. So we've got a lot to go over here. First thing I just was excited about is there is going to be an S rank Misfern. He is coming. They didn't really show too much for him. It's definitely happening. So I am excited about that. That is a unit. I'm hoping he's a farmable S rank. That'd save me some fucking money. Because I will pay to get this unit. This will happen. This is just going to be a thing for me. So he's coming. Also, another one that I thought was really good is, let's skip through because we've got a lot of screenshots here. We're gonna get to a lot of stuff here. We got Supreme being had. There's a lot here. I should have probably put this in order beforehand, but I didn't. I could see Zabueta, him. We've got him as well, Zabueta. I'm interested to see if he's going to be an S rank unit we can get. I'm not too sure yet on him. So there's some stuff that's still up in the air. He might be in like the second or third part of this event in one of the scouts. Maybe he'll be an A rank. We'll see what happens with him. And then there was also the large scale battle with all the commanders that I'm looking forward to because it's going to be all of them, and I also think Supreme being Hadler might be in this as well, so it'll technically be maybe two different fights. We'll see how that whole plays out exactly for this large scale battle. And just judging by the format and how things are set up here, it's looking like an 8-person battle, so I don't know if it's going to be broken up into you're doing each of these fights individually, or it's just going to be a big battle royale where you're fighting all the commanders and Hadler at the same time. That's going to be interesting for the EX fight. Not so much for the hard and very hard. Those are usually a cakewalk unless you're a newer player. But the EX fight is going to be very, very interesting. And then this was basically the last screen they had shown. This just hints that there's going to be more for the event. Vern is definitely coming. I mean, I knew if they were going to do a part 2, we were going to see Vern. I was more concerned if we were going to get both Mist and Kill Vern as units, which we've gotten confirmation for Mist. Kill Vern may be dropping later. We'll see. So there's a lot here to unpack in terms of the new units. Skipping around, there's the alchemy improvements that were announced as well during the event. This is going to be very interesting if you're trying to get some better rolls. So we may see this part a little bit earlier just to give you a heads up. Right now, in terms of the timetable, we're probably looking at about early June, maybe late June if things get pushed aside for the Die event. This could drop a little bit earlier. So some quality of life stuff tends to hit us a little bit earlier, although I don't know with us being crunched now and us being down to like a 90-day timetable if that's still going to be the case. But keep an eye on this. I would save some of your rolls on gear for this system, especially if you have bad luck. So I would keep things aside, wait for the system to drop to do your rolls on equipment. And then here we go, getting to Heineken, which should have been the second slide, to be honest, after Misfern. But here it's just showing him off. It's his improved form with his weapon that he got from Lawhart, the spear, and this appears to be the Grand Cross ability. I probably should have translated this for you guys, but it looks like it's going to do a fair amount of damage. It's got a decent radius to it, and I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to do for his perks, if it's going to be more of the immortal and him just having the one element weakness, or if they're going to do something else for his unit. They really didn't touch on it too much. And then here we have a class between Supreme Being Hadler and, Die, which is how I think we're also going to get Supreme Being Hadler for the large battle, or some sort of clash as well. So they're covering a lot of the anime and manga here. Somebody had said they're up to at least episode 70 or 80, given what they've showcased for the move sets and the characters. So, I mean, we may just get the entire thing here by part 3 to some extent. So we could be looking at, Vern's final form for one of the units. We could even be seeing Dragonoid die at some point. Yeah, spoilers, I know, but at this point you should have already seen the anime. So we've got that. There's another one of Heineken. There's going to be like a verse battle between them. That should be interesting. There's a lot here to unpack. And then let's get into the actual units here. So there are 3 announced scout units coming. We've got, martial artist Mom. She's the improved version of Mom. She's going to be an S rank. We've got the upgraded version of Die. And then we've also got the upgraded version of Pop, which I've got the upgraded versions of Die and Pop sitting up on the display. So you can tell I'm a fan to some extent. So, I mean, her abilities here look interesting. Nullifies HP recovery for 3 turns. I mean, in terms of like a PvP standpoint, RTA, you could nullify a lot of strategies with her. I mean, could you imagine just having her go in and put that debuff on Diamond Slime, and somebody who just kind of uses the cover tank strategy to try and crutch out the fight and keep from losing? It would make them pretty useless with her to land that attack. That's crazy. So the implications of this unit already, before it's even dropped, there's like a couple of things rattling around like, this could really put a damper on the PvP scene, but also this could really mess up some of the old world content where you have units who do like full heal and other things too, that would be negated, and that would be out of the equation. So there's a lot here that's very interesting. I mean, she's got another attack that deals physical damage to one enemy, move back up to 5 squares, so that's interesting. I mean, if she takes a hit and then gets completely out of harm's way, there's not many things that could probably follow her all the way and do some real damage. She's got a 3 square hit that randomly deals 50% physical damage to enemies within range, given 5 times, and move up to 4 squares. Okay, so she can move back and forth here. Now, the scary thing is at Max Awaken here, she gets increased evasion for 1 turn. She's got, she's got a nice utility here. She, increases speed and strength with what's it called? With Awaken 1. Let's see here. With a friend other than yourself, attacks with physical or physical skill if the enemy's within range, 1 to 3 attack. So she does a counterattack up to 4 times. Remove some status ailments when you have a status ailment active only during battle. So she's a pretty good utility unit. There's definitely some decent PvP and PvE implications with this unit. So we'll see what happens with her. There's Mist again. Now let's skip around. And then just to touch on this system here real quick, since we're just kind of going all over the place. This is what is going to be known as kind of like the refined system for doing stages. You're going to be able to input an amount here, or there we go. Hey, that one actually came after that one. Wow, that was on accident. So let's say you want 3 saber cubs. You'll keep farming the stage until you get those 3 saber cubs, so you don't over farm. Or if you're looking for another item, this could have been really useful ages ago for some stages where you just wanted to get max awakened on a farmable unit, or let's say you only needed 100 tomes for whatever reason. This is more of a refined process, so I appreciate this, and hopefully we get this sooner as well, since it's kind of like a quality of life thing. But we'll see. Now for the paid banners here, this is interesting because they're changing up how they're doing the paid structure. Now maybe this will be the new norm depending on how this sells, but essentially what this is you pay gems, kind of like you did with the other banners. You're guaranteed at S. You do that 3 times. First one, guaranteed S. Second one, guaranteed S. Third one, you get a ticket that you can exchange for any of these units. So essentially, for 90k paid gems, you're at least getting 1 spotlight unit. So, bit of a different system. You're going to have to throw more down. This is, again, more for spenders, so could you luck out and get a couple of units out of doing it this way? Yeah, it's possible you could save money in the long run. Could you also get burned and only get one on the last pull? Oh, absolutely. So, don't know how I feel about this system. It's all up to luck of the draw. At least you're getting 1 unit at 90k gems, which is better than, out of like all the paid pulls I've ever done, I think I've maybe hit like 6 or 7 times on it. So I like this idea. I'd have to see what the rates are when we get them, see if it's actually the same as before. So at least, they're not trying to water it down to make us pull more. We'll see when we get to it. So we'll stay tuned on that one. And then here we have Mr. Pop. He gets an unreflectable spell that causes large damage with his Medroa. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I like that. I like that he's going to be able to do some real damage. You can't, hide from that with Reflect. So there's going to be a lot of units that he's going to basically nullify to some extent. Omega, Santa Elena, Sorrow, a bunch of them, which is good. The other thing he has that's kind of interesting is his, ability to pull friends up to 3 range. So, I mean, I'm not really sure how that's going to work too well in terms of his utility, but maybe it can get them out of some situations. It's hard to say. It's hard to say how that's going to be utilized, but it'll be interesting to see what or if that move gets used for, because it's kind of like Mom, how she can, do some versatility with map moving units in herself. And then, of course, he's got a similar spell range to kind of like Sorrow's Side Cannon or Psycho Cannon. I think this one's a little bit less than that because it's a little bit closer. And he's also got another spell damage to 1 enemy 5 times mirror. I think is that typos? Can't tell. Where's that? Oh, that's Frizz. Marriage Frizz. Huh. So he's got kind of like Flizzard's attack there as well. And then another ability, inflict a large amount of Gira tribute spell damage to 1 enemy. Takes a break from time to time. So does that mean he gets slept? Probably gets slept. So this is interesting in terms of his toolkit and what he's got there. He's only got, 2 move too? It is what it is. Let's see. Dramatically reduces the attribute resistance of Frizz and addition. Okay. At the start, on odd number turns up to the 10th turn, raise the rates of Y skill and Mikawa effects for 3 turns. So that's, I guess, wisdom and agility. Some of these translations are a little weird. When friends other than yourself become abnormal status, increase spell power by 1.5 times effect 1 turn. That could be interesting depending on how... I mean, because he's going to have lesser agility. He's going to be slower. So he's going to go towards the end. So if somebody gets status ailmented... Okay. And then at 5, it's greatly increases spell resistance for 3 turns. So, interesting unit. Interesting unit. And then let's... Over here, we've got the scout tickets, how that's going to be set up. There's a decent amount of S ranks to be had and guaranteed for the first one. So, The second pull, you're guaranteed an S, which, again, that doesn't mean jack and shit. That could be anything. That could be a great troll. It could be, we'd have to take a look at the draws and see what they have in there, because it doesn't really mean too much unless you get lucky. There's Supreme Being Hadler again. Here's a Tact ticket coming up. Pretty standard. These are some of the better value. I mean, you get 10 pulls. You get some gold for a minimal amount of gems. That's a good deal. Those are always not a bad deal, given the fact that you need 30k gems to do a 10 pull. So I would jump for that. And then let's find Dies Translation. Those are the upgrade orbs that we're going to be using. And then, of course, Friendship's going to be back in again. Woo boy. Get ready to farm your asses off, kids. Like that screen. And then, okay. Now here's Die. So let's get to the final bit of this here. And then let me see if I can actually zoom in a little bit on this, because, shit, I'm going to need reading glasses for this one. Can I zoom in? Let's see. I feel like I'm going to mess this up trying to zoom in on this, but let's see. Okay, there's the window pane. Can I... Why won't you let me zoom in on you? Can I make this bigger, maybe? Okay. Well, yeah, let's make this one bigger, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to read this. Alright, so Avant Rush X. Deal 300% physical Dane damage to one enemy, while range effect that lowers the given... I'm going to have to actually get up super close to the screen to read this. I am sorry. Effects that lower the given effect with high protection for 3 turns. Dane attributes with 300% power to enemies within orange range. Yeah, some of this doesn't make any sense. Somebody's going to have to clarify in the comments for me. I am sorry. Deal physical damage and move up to 4 squares. High chance of lowering Dane resistance for 3 turns. I guess that's wind, maybe? I don't know. See this other Avant Rush A. Inflict 300% physical Dane damage to one enemy. High chance to lower Dane resistance. So it's maybe Whoosh, I'm thinking. 300% damage to all enemies within range. Deal physical Dane damage and move up to 4 squares. High chance. That one's the same thing, just different radius. Reduces own damage by 50% for 1 turn. Effect 99 turns. Increases physical power and recovery power by 1.5 times. Effect 1 turn. Oh, with this Draconic Ore. Ooh, interesting. And then we've got deal 400% physical damage to one enemy. High chance of lowering physical resistance for 3 turns. And then he's got his air slash here. Inflicts 320% definite buggy attribute physical damage to one enemy. God, some of this is just... Yeah, well, we just go with it. Alright, let's look at his traits at the start of the action. If your HP of 50% or less, 1.5 times physical power, recovery power, removes some status ailments. Okay. Oh, magical. Awaken skill 10 at the start of battle. Action when your HP is 20% or more, increase power and increase damage dealt by 20%. Reduces damage taken by 20%. Okay. And then the third awaken at the start of action on odd number of turns up to 5th turn. Increase attack power. Effect 3 turns. Not bad. Let's see here. 50 recovers 8% of maximum MP at the start of the action for number 5. And then what's this panel characteristics? Draconic Ore fully open at the start of action. If your HP is 50% or less, reduce damage taken by 50%. 20% of maximum value when own HP is 30% or less. Recovers own HP activates up to 3 times during battle. Ooh, that's a lot to take in. I mean, some of this seems a little wonky, but we'll see when we get it. But I think other than that, we've basically gone over everything. There's a lot here, so I mean we're getting some quality of life changes. There's going to obviously be more with this last panel hinting at Vern, showing him there burning Medini, which is kind of funny. I had a good laugh over that. And again, I would have gotten this video out earlier, but I literally stayed up to watch it all, take some screenshots, and I'm glad the community came out and helped me out. I'm also going to have a link down to Teju's YouTube and channel if you want to support him. You know, something Tuki should have done. Just, I don't know, when you take other people's work, you should give them credit. But why? I know. I don't do this whole YouTube thing right, I guess. But anyway, guys, thank you again for watching. If you like the video, like the video. If you want to subscribe, go for it. I promise nothing in terms of content. Videos kind of come out when I feel motivated or like a subject to talk about. We'll probably do one soon about Echoes of Mana. I'm kind of waiting to see if anything else gets axed before I do that, though. Just so I can kind of combine it into 2-for-1 deal, but we'll see. But anyway, you guys take care. See you next time. Peace.